Well, I was not in a great mood until about 2 seconds ago when Ray's stupid giddy face perked up at the sight of Roman Anthony's sister. Welcome to Semi Sports Show. The Red Sox their hands were forced to bring up the future of the franchise, the number one prospect in baseball. Of course, I'm talking about Roman Anthony. Made his major league debut, and his sister made the internet debut, and the place went wild.
And she was ready for the moment.
Yeah, she knew what she was doing. The hand was forced with injuries. We've declared war on the Red Sox this year for good reason, and we're going to talk more about that, why, again, their hands were forced here to bring Roman Anthony up. But nevertheless, we are here. We're not going backwards on this because the kid looks ready for the moment, except if he's taking ground balls in right field. But before we do that, we're going to talk to Mr. Mahlon Williams, the Season 2, Episode 7 winner of Pros vs. Joes, and, of course, founder of and CCO of Fan Favorite, a.k.a. LF Boston Sports, your favorite Boston sports apparel. We're going to get to him in just a second, but as we always do, let's do some opening takes. Raymond, if you could.
Absolutely, Richard. Imagine living out your childhood dream, being called up to the majors, not only being your franchise top prospect, but all of MLB, just to have your moment stolen by your sister in the red. And just, the internet is ablaze right now. She is all over it. No one's talking about Roman Anthony anymore. They're all talking about Lila Anthony because she was turning heads everywhere you look. Neston was pointing her out all over the place. And then Rich did one better and sent me this, and I've been a busy man all afternoon. Thanks to Richard. So, yeah, thank you, Roman Anthony, and thank you to the Anthony family for making my afternoon a delight.
Good genes there in the Anthony family.
We absolutely know why the Red Sox were delaying this, because they knew this was going to happen.
Oh,
okay,
yeah.
They knew.
I believe her name is Leah, not Lila. But
well, whatever. Do you think I care about what her name is?
Bob, your opening take.
It is June, and that is NBA rumor season about all the different trades and where players are going. Will Kevin Durant get traded again? Where will Jimmy Butler go? And of course, the newest trade rumor, Jaylen Brown swapping for Giannis. Now, let me tell you, why would we do that? Why would we swap our self-righteous jerk for theirs? Let's just keep ours. It doesn't seem like it's much of a move here. We'll just piss off everybody. Giannis is just a souped-up version of Jaylen. They do the same thing. Why trade him? Let's just keep our guy. Let's make this simple here, guys. Why do we talk about these things? Can we talk about something else? Let's talk about Roman Anthony's sister. That's better.
Okay, Celtics fans, stick around for when I shove Bobby into a locker for showing you how much of a jerk Jaylen Brown is not. And as we've chronicled,
I don't believe any of that.
As we've chronicled on the show multiple times, Giannis Antetokounmpo is rising the charts of dickheads in professional sports. So you might want to take that back in a short while. I'll go. My opening take is very quick. It's very short. It's very to the point. Is Drake May good? Not sure. We'll find out. Guess we'll find out.
Wow,
but anybody who says that he is, certainly, fuck off. You don't know that. You don't fucking know that. And I will beat this drum until he proves otherwise. So we'll do that. The Empire Strikes Back. Not Roman Anthony. More so Lila. Now I don't know. Leah. I think it's Leah. The sister. That's on the tracks. I'm going to tell you why that big three, the Red Sox big three, is about to disappoint you very quickly. Now, Cora has a lot to do with that. Stephon Diggs. He spoke. Let's see what he had to say about that little pink powder. The Celtics rumors, as Bobby mentioned. We got some Bruins talk in here. We've got 10 questions from a guy named Rob. Simplest minds of the week. Big show. But again, as always, stick around right now. After the opening, we're going to talk to Mahlon Williams, Fan Favorite. Welcome to the show. The Celtics are dumb front-running pussies.
Can you hear me okay?
If Mahlon Williams hits more than 3 targets, he'll win this matchup. Come on, James, win back. Mahlon's talking this match.
Yo.
Mahlon's got it. He's got to go second. There's a throw. Oh, he gets a target. 5 seconds to shoot. The time the ball gets out.
And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Our guest for the evening, as I mentioned, the season 2 episode winner of episode 7, Pros vs. Joes, Mahlon Williams. How are you, my friend?
Uh-oh. You froze again?
Can you hear us?
We may have technical difficulties. All I wanted was the reaction to the cut up. The cut up Pros vs. Joes highlights from Mahlon Williams. Of course, you two remember the show Pros vs. Joes.
Oh, absolutely. It was a great
Absolutely.
show. Because you always thought the guys that were like retired and junk now, you're like, oh, I could beat them. And then you see them playing average people and you're like, oh shit, they still got it.
Yeah. This episode in particular chronicled Wade Boggs, classic Red Sox enemy. And the three guys from Boston, including Mahlon, who was by far the best athlete of the 3 Joes that were on that show. There was a decent long-haired white guy that kind of looked like a fat Jesus. Had a decent arm. He looked like a decent baseball player. Mahlon dominated these guys. We'll see if we can get him.
All right. God
There
damn.
we are.
Oh, technology, man. You gotta love it.
Dude, listen, I'm telling you, man, it changes so fast. I feel like I'm still on the 14.4 dial-up in this house, and I got like the fastest internet supposedly. So we'll see. I'll get it.
We'll beep this out. Comcast.
Sadly, yes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, actually, it's a two-parter. So I had Comcast and I had like the fastest, but I'm on the one block, even though Verizon Fios came to Boston in my neighborhood first. The entire town in West Roxbury got connected except my block because they didn't have access to the pole that was behind my house. So I had to fight and lobby for it. So they finally hooked it up, but for whatever reason, I don't have such a great connection, even though I pay for it.
You got an old school black box that thing. You got to run some wires.
Yeah, I
down
know,
the street.
dude. I need like a 14-year-old geek to come out here and hook it up for me.
Exactly. Yeah,
There
we
you
hear you on that one, Mahlon. Well, look, I don't know if you got a chance to see the opening, but let me just ask you the question off the top, and we can dive into it or not.
Sure.
Was it in your career, which is illustrious at this point, very successful? How hard was it not to consider it your peak after the win on Pros vs. Joes season 2, episode 7?
Oh, dude. I don't know if you saw the episode. It's on Apple. It's on
I bought it today. I watched the whole thing.
Dude, it's hilarious. It was listen, so that's actually what got me into this whole thing to begin with, because I was on 2 episodes and I almost won the whole season, which would have been great because that was the year that you got like the winner got tickets for 2 to like every major championship. And so that was when the Celtics on the 08 run, the Red Sox were in it. It was everybody was winning at that point. And I had an opportunity to do it. But anyway, the long and short of it was that it was the most fun I've ever had. And after being on that episode, or those 2 episodes, a buddy of mine convinced me to start a t-shirt company, which I had no idea what the hell I was doing. You might as well say, let's start a coffee company, because why not? But we did it and we figured it out, and here we are.
And here we are. And anybody that's coming in later, we had technical difficulties there. We're with Mahlon Williams, founder and CCO of Fan Favorite, or longtime known as I Love Boston, Boston Sports Apparel. Widely considered the most popular creative apparel brand in New England, if not Boston. And
thank you.
Everybody listening probably has at least one piece of that apparel. So no, thank you for putting it all out there over the years. Stuff is awesome.
All right. Well, I'm just trying to do my part. That's all.
So we got a couple questions for you. We can get into that. Obviously, big sports fan. We want to kind of get your gist on the state of the union, if you would, in Boston, which is not what it used to be. When you were coming up, way to pick a time to out some merch, man.
Absolutely. And it's we had some ups and downs, and the beautiful part about what we do over here is that we become very cordial with a lot of legends that have played here in Boston. When you get phone calls from Tom Brady Sr., just checking in, or you get, an occasional email or a call from Robert Kraft, saying, I love your stuff. I would love to help you out. And, and it's great, and so we've been able to, foster some very good relationships with some of these players. And it all started with Brian Scalabrine, which is kind of crazy. But Scal was kind of the genesis of our success. And back in 2008, in that season, everybody was rushing to create product for the big three, Garnett, Pearson, Allen. And I was like, listen, it's a crowded market. Let's go with the tall redhead guy at the end of the bench, the white dude.
I'm surprised you were willing to work with Scal as a well-known pro athlete who likes to crush regular folks in basketball games. I'm surprised you were able to do that.
Yeah, that was actually before he started challenging the everyday guy off the street. But this was when nobody was really paying too much attention to Scal, and
that's when he knew his place.
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And so, what we did with him back in 2008 was crazy, because he sent somebody from the team out to the street, because the only place we were selling our product was outside the stadiums. And so he sent somebody out there. He wanted to buy, I think it was like 50 shirts or something crazy. And we were like, we thought we had just won the lottery. We were like, we made it, dude, we made it, and it just, he was such a cool dude. And, he was actually the first athlete that we booked to come out and meet fans in our store when we had a store out in Legacy Place in Dedham. And the line was like around, it was crazy. And, and that's the best part of what we do, is when we're able to bring fans and players together in an atmosphere where it's not very transactional. It's really about just enjoying being a fan of the sport, a fan of the player, and the players, really don't have to make it. The business part of it doesn't get in the way,
Yeah.
So that's been great.
So obviously you had great success with the teams winning championships, but now 3 out of the 4 teams below. How is the creative flow going now with the company?
Well, I always tell people that, we sell hope. And at the end of the day, before the first game of the season, everybody's undefeated. So, you got to hit them early. And then what you do is you hope and pray that, there's that somebody emerges. The thing is that even if you have a team that is very successful, but is unlikable, like the Celtic team, probably 3 or 4 years ago. Not right now. No, right now. Come on. That's,
Right.
I mean, listen, we feel some kind of way because, I'll tell you this, is that outside of Tom Brady deciding to go to Tampa, Jason Tatum tearing his Achilles, I think, is probably the most significant instant moment in the last 10 years, because everything with this franchise just changed on a dime. We went from a team that could have back-to-back success and then make a hard decision in the offseason to like, listen, do we just destroy and rebuild? Do we try to, see if we can make a couple of moves and be contenders again next year? So, the Celtics were the bright spot. And and it's right now it's very, very much up in the air. So
Bobby would disagree with you because he has had a vendetta against Joe Mazzulla for quite a long time. But I'm with you. As soon as that Achilles went down, now look, I think that they were going to be forced with some difficult decisions, which they still are, outside of the Tatum injury and outside of the salary. I'd like to get your opinion on this. Didn't this year prove to a lot of people that they have to change the way they play basketball a little bit? They doubled down on the 3-point.
And that's
attempt rate, and it bit them. They shot themselves out of game 1 and game 2. And they were on their way to lose to the Knicks, whether Tatum was getting hurt or not, I think. So
here's the thing, is that the game of basketball has changed a lot in terms of the way people play it. But the things that have always worked, we got away from. And I'm from Chapel Hill, North Carolina. So, when it comes to like just analyzing the game and analyzing the X's and O's part of it, that's something that I love doing, because I was a bad player on a very good team. And so I had a lot of time to sit and watch. And then there you go. So that's why, I can immediately identify, absolutely. And so it became an opportunity for me to just, and I get frustrated because as I'm watching the way the game is being played now, the game of basketball is very beautiful when it's played well. And it's a very simple game. And I think that when you have a team that has the capabilities of being a deadly threat from 3-pointer, you tend to rely, you become very complacent. And I think that's what hurt us more than anything. And they got complacent with what they do best, and they forgot to do or how to adapt to when teams want to try to take that away from you. You know, the solution is not just shooting more threes and playing a numbers game. And that's one way to look at it. But, you know, we didn't play with a sense of urgency. And that's what bothered me. I equate it to Rocky 3. You know, we became the wine and cheese crowd, you know, and you know, we didn't have that eye. And I looked at the teams that are in it now, and I'm like, there's no way in hell we would have won. We wouldn't have beat Indiana. Absolutely not. You know, these guys they're too hungry. You know, we probably wouldn't have beat OKC if we made it into the finals. You know, and I knew we were off to a bad start when Porzingis started the season hurt, because last year before the season started, you know, when they got a Porzingis, I was like, listen, this team on paper is better than the '86 Celtic team, and I revere that team. I love the team, and I'm like, on paper, these guys, you know, where's the lie? You know, these guys are beating them, and then I knew they were going to win the season before the season even started. You know,
well, Porzingis made them play a different way because he was so efficient and dominant on that high post that they made them run it through him so often and get guys in different positions and get open easy shots. And when he went down, it just felt like the Tatum show too often from 36 feet away.
Oh, yeah.
And I've been calling for years. I said, can you imagine how good and efficient Jaden Tatum would be if he just got a little bit of a back to the basket game on the block somewhere?
Yeah,
take
you're
that
not
whole team and dump for a two. Like, can they? They're big brained over there. Brad Stevens, the best basketball brain I've seen in a long time. Like, how do they miss that? Put this kid on the block.
And that's the thing, is that when they brought in Sam Cassell, because I was so frustrated, I was yelling at the screen at Tatum. And my one of my good friends from college was swearing to me that, you know, Tatum is the future. He's the guy. And I'm like, listen, man, you know, I've been watching this team for a long time, and since the bubble, I was like, Jaylen Brown is the better player. He plays off 2 feet. He's got much better moves. If you look at the moves that Kobe had, his go-to moves, Jaylen Brown has all of that. You know, he's much more athletic than Tatum. Tatum has way more potential, but what good is it if you don't use it? And I'm like, what was frustrating for me is watching Tatum, and this is going back 3 years, and I will say that Tatum has changed his game a lot this past year. But when I think we were playing Indiana, and he's posting up, I think it was Neymar on the but he's posting a guy up on the 3-point line with his back, like, you know, back to the basket. He'll start off on the block, and then he gets pushed out by a much smaller guy. And then he gets the ball after posting up on the 3-point line and then takes a bad shot. And I'm like, he doesn't have a mid-range game. He has either he's going all the way to the cup or he's going to do a step back 3. So if you're a defender, it's a lot easier to play them. And the only reason why they beat Philadelphia when he had, I think, 51 or 54, is because that game 7, Doc Rivers went away from what they had been doing all series. What they were doing is they were leaving Embiid home and catching Tatum at the rim, forcing Tatum to put the ball on the floor because they knew he wasn't going to stop and pop. He was going to all the way to the cup, and then they were challenging him at the cup, and then he'd take a bad shot, and then, you know, he's throwing his hands up looking for a call, and, you know, refs aren't going to bail you out on a game 7. Yeah. So game 7, they didn't do that. And whenever Al Horford would run out to the wing, and B would follow him out there, and Tatum went crazy. So that was on Doc. But I think that yeah, I know. I mean, listen,
greatest playoff coaches of all time.
I want to play nice because I like Doc, and I think that I think he's had his fair share of challenges. You know, much like
Doc should be sending KG like a bouquet of flowers every other week too. Yeah, without that championship.
You know, but going back to your point about Mazzulla, and listen, I felt the same way. You know, I think, you know, he got out coached this year. I think that there is a place for what Mazzulla has, and I think that you just have to give him a little bit of time to learn the X's and O's a little bit more, because what he has, a coach like Brad Stevens is, you know, has got the science of the game down, but he can't connect with the players, which is why when they got rid of Ime, he was like, I am not trying to go back on the bench because these guys aren't going to listen to me. I'm a middle of the country white dude that never really played at a high level, and I just don't have that connection with the players like that. And Mazzulla, I think, is the right guy. I think that he just needs to learn the game a little bit more, and that'll come with time. But some of the stuff that the faux pas that he did make, I think everybody and their mother was like, "Listen, dude, call a timeout. At what point do you let this thing
Right.
just, get away?" But that's being arrogant. When when you have that mentality, you got yourself into it, get yourself out of it. What good is it if you end up losing the series because you're trying to make a point?
Bobby,
Yeah.
what's your thoughts on Joe Mazzulla?
That he doesn't. He's never held a whiteboard once on a basketball. I'm not sure he understands how to call a play. They basically run the same thing regardless over and over and over again, and they don't. He doesn't have a feel for anything that the team is doing as far as from a player standpoint. He just has them run their system, and that's it. He's kind of missing 2 out of the 3 things that you need as a coach. He doesn't have his pulse on the team, and he can't game plan from game to game. He can run a system. He's like a good offensive assistant, but he isn't able to effectively manage the team on a day-to-day basis.
I think Mahlon had it too, though. I think he does connect to the players, and certainly Tatum. He's been his personal coach for a number of years, and that's probably why he still has the job. But his in-game feel, he's 33 or something. Like he's only coached this team in the NBA for 3 seasons. I get that, but I'm excited for this year without Tatum, because if they don't, they're going to have to adjust. And he's going to have to learn how to coach a different style of basketball. If they just continue to do what they're doing, he won't have a job. They're gonna blow him out because he's not.
No, you're right.
He's going to have.
You're absolutely right. I mean, listen, when you have the studs that you had, it's easy to just kind of take your hand off the wheel and let the self-driving car get you there, But when you have, like, if you look at the job that Ime is doing out in Houston, it's unfortunate that he had the situation that he had here in Boston, because I think he is a dynamite coach, and I think he's going to have a bright future. And
do you think he regrets it? Like in the moment, probably not.
Probably not.
1 second.
And we still don't even really know what happened or who it happened to, but I mean, we know a little bit. But I think that
a little bit. It went from the entire female roster to like one big wig female, and then
So it's one of those things, and I know some guys on the team. I just don't even ask questions because you don't want to get into just kind of pretend like it didn't happen. But I will tell you this: is that 2 years ago I was saying that Joe Mazzulla's best option was playing 2 bigs, because and he didn't do it at all until this past year. He started playing 2 bigs. And I'm like, I don't know why we didn't do that a lot sooner, because it makes this much more difficult. And if you look at what the way teams in the league reacted to when Golden State started playing small ball and shooting up the volume 3s that they did, all the teams in the league started adjusting. They started going to a roster where they had guys that could stretch the floor, and they didn't really have any bigs at that point that could consistently do it. So they had the biggest guy they would play with like 6'8", so they had a team of pretty much wing players, playing all 5 positions. And I think what's happening is that a lot of the guys a lot of the teams started adjusting to the way the Celtics were playing, and started to try to get big guys that could actually shoot from outside or be a threat out that way. 7-footers aren't that easy to come by. So I think you're going to see the style of play change. I think that the Celtics at all costs have to do whatever they need to do to keep Luke Cornett, because
you don't hear that's a hot take. You don't hear that.
Yeah, you don't hear that every day.
Selling out for the old Cornett monster. Listen,
man, I've been a fan of Luke. So this is crazy. I'll tell you so. I'll let you see how the sausage is made. So obviously we had some success with Peyton Pritchard, and we knew that he was going to be a guy that was just hungry. He was going to get an opportunity. We didn't realize that he was just going to go bananas the way that he did. But the only reason we ran at Pritchard is because the person that we really wanted to do that with was Luke Cornett, and we couldn't get any love from his agency.
Oh.
And we were like, because here's the thing is that, and I like Rob Williams, but we know that Rob Williams has had a history with injury, and we know Rob, and we've done collaborations with him. But when I saw Luke play the first time, I was like, listen, this guy is fundamentally sound. He plays within himself. He's got great instincts. He's quick off his feet around the rim. He doesn't mind getting dunked on. So a lot of times when you have a guy who's a marquee player who's getting paid big bucks, they don't want to end up on a poster, so that affects the way that they play. They play timid because, it's not very cool getting dunked on. But, he takes it as a challenge. And I thought he's goofy, and I called him Scal 2.0 because I was like, the guy didn't take himself, too seriously. And this was 2 years ago, and we've been chasing him ever since, and it just never really happened.
He needs
So
to jump on that because Luke Cornett is Scalabrine, and we're gonna
without question.
take a little bit racial here, but it's Boston. A goofy white guy off the end of the bench that hustles and does all the dirty work. That's Boston. Like
But he is listen, I'm not gonna say he's Kevin Garnett. I'm not gonna be that crazy, but he is a phenomenal role player. And if he was on a team like the Lakers, he's starting and he's getting major minutes, and he's gonna give you 15 points a night, 14, 15 points a night, and 8-9 rebounds, but he'll be
I think so.
consistent.
He has those defensive laps. Like he had his Kelly Olynyk night. What was it, game 3 or 4 against the Knicks, where he just dominated for like 7 minutes straight. He had like 5 blocks and all these putbacks. Yeah, he has that potential in him. But in terms of and let me take a second just to toot your horn a little bit for you here. So what you mentioned Peyton Pritchard, and you've got this awesome Peyton Pritchard collection on fanfavorite.com. You can go sweatshirts, t-shirts, the Pritch Please, all that is where you can find it. And that's kind of what you're alluding to. And you're right. The lurch, what a well of unbelievable creativity opportunities he would be. So I understand now why you think the Celtics absolutely need to resign.
Yeah, listen,
you're looking like a money pot.
Yo, you need something to grab onto, man, and that's he's the guy. He's that dude. Let
me switch gears real quick because I don't want to keep you too long. I want to get just to the other teams in town, or at least the Pats. I'm beating this drum because nobody else is, and I don't totally believe it or agree with it. But let me just ask the question directly: what's your confidence in Drake May?
I got to tell you,
enough said. We can end there.
Listen, wait a second. Hold on. Now, I'm a Carolina dude. I'm a UNC guy. I'm from Chapel Hill. However,
scratch that question. What do you think of Jordan Hudson?
Okay, so actually, listen, I was just texting. Listen, I know Jordan.
I'm talking with you. Say whatever.
Wait, you know Jordan? Nope. Continue.
Listen, I know Jordan and I know Bill, and so I'm going to play nice. First of all, I'm not on social media as much as some of you guys might be, and I see some stuff here and there. In person, she is a sweet girl, and she is nothing like the way that she comes off at times on social media. And I think that, I think that it's unfortunate that she has somehow become the focus of the attention. And but she is really a sweet girl, and it's interesting when I talk to her. So I went to Belichick. Belichick got inducted into his high school Hall of Fame back in November, and he had 3. I'm sorry.
November of 2024, Bill Belichick got inducted into his high school Hall of Fame.
He got inducted into his high school Hall of Fame. It was for lacrosse.
Oh,
and so they were honoring legends. I think the Hall of Fame ceremony they have there was relatively new, and they invited him. They didn't think he was going to come, and he came, and he had 3 VIP tickets, and I was one of them. And it's not because me and Bill are like the best of friends, but we have a very close mutual friend who has over the last 8 years, been gradually, kind of pulling me into the Bill circle, and I've had the pleasure of doing some work for Bill and doing some commission stuff for him and his family, and getting to know his kids, and and it's very cool. And the fact that he went to Chapel Hill. They announced that they were talking with Bill the week after I was with him, and I was like, "There's no way. Come on. He would have said something. I was just with him, and I'm sitting right next to Jordan at the table, and I'm like, Bill would have said something, And I will say that I do have the very first autograph of Bill Belichick on a Hall of Fame banquet brochure that was at like a Holiday Inn in Maryland. But she's a very sweet girl, and I wish them the best, and I love the fact that they're in Chapel Hill, and because now I have an excuse to go down there a little bit more.
I think they do well. I think it's a better story if he does well. I think it's a better story if he gets an opportunity for the NFL. She has not painted herself in the best of light, or the media has not, and that's taken hold of it all. But
I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that Bill was very contentious with the media, and this is an opportunity for them to try to
Get back at him.
get back at him. But she is a very sweet girl, and Bill seems genuinely happy. And I went down and saw him a couple of months ago for the Duke UNC basketball game, and Drake May was in the house, and I was trying to make my way around the stadium because he was on the other side from where I was. And the crazy thing is that if you ever want to meet Drake May or meet any of these UNC guys that won championships and that were great, go to a UNC game, because when you go to a school where Michael Jordan went, everybody else is kind of like, and so no one makes a big deal about anybody else.
Yeah.
And so I was trying to make my way to the other side to catch him, but unfortunately I didn't. But I think that he's going to be very successful because, first of all, he's a very high character guy, and he's a good dude. And so I think that he's a very solid quarterback. I will tell you this: the last number 10 in New England, I got burned by, and I think we all did.
Mhm.
And
I don't remember that.
I knew there was a problem. Listen, so here's the part that you don't know is that I knew there was going to be a problem when I was having conversations with his agent about doing something with Mac, and then his agent wasn't the easiest guy to work with and was a little bit full of himself. And but agents have to fight for their guy, and I get all of that. But he said some things that that didn't really rub me the right way. We had a shirt at the time that was Massachusetts. He sent me a cease and desist and was like, was trying to, hang me over the balcony and empty my pockets over something crazy in the middle of a negotiation. And he was like, listen, his parents are both attorneys. They looked at it and they were like, listen, they're coming after you if you don't do it. And I was like, listen, here, give them my number and bring it on. I mean, if this is the game you want to play, I can promise you, because I can be the biggest asshole on the planet if I feel like you're. I mean, listen, I'm just, I'm being real, and I just felt like, and then some of the other stuff that that kind of happened gave me the impression that he was, he was just a pampered kid that couldn't handle adversity.
And you were right.
But I will tell you, listen, I'm gonna tell you this about Drake. Drake comes from good stock. His whole family, they're all UNC people, and they're all sports people from the top to the bottom. And I've talked to people. My son goes to Babson, and some of their alumni, and he plays rugby, and so some of the alumni are from that area, and they grew up with Drake's parents, and they know the whole family. And I'm just asking them questions. As soon as we knew we were going to draft them, I'm asking them questions about the family. And these guys are the salt of the earth. And I will tell you that I'm hoping to be able to announce something pretty soon. But I don't want to say too much. But
they call that a tease in the biz.
That's a tease. I like.
My wife went to Babson. We'll have to connect there.
Yeah, he's gonna have a good season, and I just hope that we can. I'm torn because I love Mayo. I love the opportunity that he had. I don't feel like he got a fair shot, and I think that this, I'm gonna get social here for a second. I think that when you are an African American coach, it becomes very tough because you don't want to give the impression that you're contentious and you can't really work with people, like they said about Mark Jackson, like they said about Brian Flores down in Florida. But there's the caveat to that is that when you try to get along and trying to be the guy that can cooperate and be a team player, sometimes you get taken advantage of. And I just feel like he got a raw deal. And I think, some players that I knew on the team didn't really feel too good about that as well. But
I don't think that. I think that's I don't think anyone has necessarily disputed Gerard Mayo got put in a bad situation, but both can be true. He did poorly in a bad situation.
He didn't help himself. I can tell you that.
Yeah, and in order to move this franchise in the right direction, Kraft had to make that move. And on this show, when you boil it all back, really, the decision that Kraft made, and I know Bill's your boy, but the way that he put this franchise on that directory towards the last couple years of his career here too, they were just in a bad way, and they had to make it. No,
I think I
think Gerard got railroaded, but he didn't do himself any favors.
No, and I think so he definitely didn't do himself any favors, and I think that you have a little bit longer leash and a little bit longer runway when you are not necessarily a coach who, you know, when you're a coach that kind of is part of that fits kind of the system and is part of the club, if you will. So it's hard to break into that fraternity. But I think he's gonna hopefully coach again somewhere someday. But I think that Vrabel, if you had to pick a guy, to chase down the Mayo era and the last couple of years of Bill being in New England, I think that he is the guy. And I think more than anything, a lot of the issues that at least when Bill was there, and I'm not speaking from any personal firsthand knowledge, but I think one of the issues was, there's too many chefs in the kitchen. If you're going to let the guy cook, you got to let the guy cook. You can't be trying to pull his strings from on high. And I think that's what Bill Parcells, the problems that he had with the ownership group and some of the other people in the front office. And I think that Bill pretty much knew that, listen, if you're going to be this hands-on, I need to go somewhere else. And Vrabel is that guy, because Vrabel's not playing that. Vrabel's like, listen, I'm doing it my way. I'm going to win and lose with my decisions, and I don't want any input, So I don't think it needs to be a collaboration. You need somebody who's going to be very decisive. And, I think he's the right guy. So I'm excited to see what the team does. That's for sure. I don't know as many guys on the team as I did a few years ago, but
they blew them all out.
Yeah, they're all gone.
Yeah.
Those guys are gone. Yeah.
My last guy, Dietrich Wise and Dave Andrews, are no longer there. So those were good. Those were great guys. So
Andrews should be around for a little bit.
But I think Drake is. Listen, I think Drake is going to be. I think he's going to be a solid quarterback because at the end of the day, character really does matter. And and I hate to say this, but the Stephon Diggs thing. He says all the right things in the aftermath of what happened a few weeks ago. But whenever you got a player who makes big bucks and who's dating Cardi B, and again, it's not about Cardi B, but it could be a Cardi B type. When you're dating someone that's a public figure like that only cares about, or that cares as much about their image, and I just think the priorities aren't where you probably want them.
The next distraction is coming up. This isn't just the end. It's just waiting for the next one.
Just a matter of time.
We've taken a ton of your time. I think we could talk to you all night. This is the exact kind of thing we like to do, but we'll let you go here. I do have one last question though, just going back to pros and Joes. Does Wade Boggs smell like drunk?
Listen, that dude. Listen, he's hilarious. Listen,
Wade, he's probably the best dude to hang out with. He's probably got a million stories and
dude. He was so. Those guys were so unbelievable, man. They were great. And the interesting thing is that even in the aftermath of the show, I've still stayed in contact with a few of them, and so it was great. He was in incredible shape too. He had been retired for a few years, and he was making some serious plays out there. So
a lot. You got the block on Starks, and you took him to town in the corner on the 3-point. So at Amazon Prime, it's $199.
There you go. It's worth the spend. It's hilarious. Listen, I will tell you this: episode 10 is very serious, and I was putting it on Tim Hardaway. So you got to watch that episode.
You were serious in episode 2. You were getting a little bit like, God, I'm not gonna there was that scrawny little white kid that's like he wasn't doing it. Somehow he got a couple of hits, and you're like, God damn, I'm gonna lose this motherfucker.
Listen, let me tell you something. And the sad part about it, and I'm gonna be serious here for a second, is that there's a realization that you come to when you are doing a show like that. And when you're throwing a baseball and it looks like you're throwing with your left hand, but you're throwing with your dominant hand. And I was like, I realized I had never thrown a baseball in my adult life. And I was like, how does that even happen? And so it wasn't quite as bad as the way they made it look like, but damn, it was pretty damn bad.
It's worth the watch. It's worth the watch.
So listen, next, when I have some breaking news, and I will have some breaking news very soon, I want to break it here. Is that cool?
Yeah, man. Absolutely. Anytime. You're welcome.
Absolutely.
All right. All right, listen, do a giveaway too, and we'll send some shirts out to your audience.
Yeah, let's connect on. We'll put that all out there, and we appreciate it very much. And
all right, thanks a lot, guys, for having me.
Everything, appreciate it.
Hey, good luck tomorrow too.
Yeah, give him hell in Rec League.
Yeah, tomorrow. Big game.
Dude, listen. All right.
God bless. Just don't get hurt.
Yeah, don't get hurt.
Listen, after that Tatum, I'm playing very defensive. And the thing about it, it's the worst because I'm playing against guys that I should be just destroying. But, I'm just getting back into it. I hadn't picked up a basketball in like 12 years.
Finish them off.
When the Zula ball, just stay at the 3-point line. That's all you got to do.
Oh, dude, listen, I airballed a free throw, which is God awful. I've never done it in my entire life, So, but I'm getting it
Not
back.
everybody's Wade Boggs, man. They
Shoot every time you get the ball.
That's true. All right, listen. Thanks a lot for having me, guys.
Hey, thank
Bye
you.
now.
Appreciate you.
See you.
Later.
And there you go. Mahlon Williams. What a hoot. I'm sure he's got stories for days. We could have talked to him all night.
Yeah.
But let him go do his thing. He's got a stretch for tomorrow night's Rex game, Rec basketball. So we'll give him that. Well, until then, we're going to throw it over to headlines with the obvious one.
This goes out to all our fans in LA. Hola, hola. Yo soy el obvio uno. Gordo lato confundo per conforgra vacolalas de portos mal más o menos.
Christ.
I can't do Spanish. You think I can do fucking Spanish?
No, I don't.
Keep going.
Hey, defensa bueno, un tipo, Christian Gonzalez, no mi primo. Hago la bol no cono a no mano.
With your mom last night.
Yo tanto eso rompo el culo. Drake May, Lazo. That's lesbian. I know that one. Y de Bravo, Lanzo como Wii Sports, loco. Hey, números unos Jaguars CVan, como CV Schweister, Duggars, Yoi, Noi, Cora, I'm fat. We got that one.
Why don't you skip to the Bruins there, buddy?
Marco Sturm, Ojero, Javlo, Los Bruos, Primo, Entertando, El Mando, and NHL Prost. Don Sweeney, Dice Combe, Steam, Dijo, Primo, Peta. I read good. This has been Headlines with the Obvious One. Stay thick, Boston. Where are we going, Richard? Where do you want to go?
Jesus Christ. Let's just go to the umpire.
Empire. You got it. Oh, everyone.
Oh, God, what's that?
I thought he was peeing.
No, your mother was done, so I just adjust. Thank you. Mahlon Williams there. So sorry, let me do this correctly. Fanfavorite.com. Go check out everything there. The I Love Boston Sports guy, for anyone in Boston, probably recognizes that. We're going to figure out a giveaway to do with him for some of that merchandise. So stick around for that. Do the newsletter, silverminesports.com. That's where you're going to want to see a lot of those giveaways. And follow all of our socials. Right? What are our socials?
Simple Mind Sports on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, X. What else are we on? Lemon.
What?
YouTube. Yeah, there's Lemon now. We're on
Lemon.
Lemon.
Interesting.
Blue
Okay.
Sky.
We're on all that?
Yep.
Good for
What
us.
else? Yep.
Good job.
LinkedIn.
Good job, social media
Yes, LinkedIn.
department. Good job.
LinkedIn. Yeah.
All
Yep,
right.
we're in LinkedIn.
Anybody's looking for an internship, check out LinkedIn. We'll post that as well.
We have
If
criteria.
We do have criteria. You do have to
We'd be
match.
happy to take you.
Athletic tux only.
So where you get the interview.
Yep, with the hoodie that we'll give away to you. So check out all of that. All right. So changing gears here, back to the Red Sox. The Empire, Roman Anthony, the Roman Empire strikes back. Him and his sister. That the only thing Ray has on in his mind today. That's the only reason you couldn't get through the Spanish segment of the program. His mind's been gummied up thinking about Leah.
Oh, man. Leah, Lila, whatever her name
Leah
is.
Anthony. Good genes, that Anthony.
She's going to be Mrs. Langevin at one point in her life. That's what she's going to be.
your son.
That's what I'm striving for.
Unless your mom turns and then she gets she marries her. That's about the only way that's happening.
Son of a bitch.
Yeah. Roman Anthony, on the other hand, went 0 for 4 with a game-losing error in his first major league debut. But have no fear, back then up with a 1 for 4 game, 2 RBIs, which ended up being the game winner. Let me put it simply: the kid looks legit. There's no reason it should have taken him this long to get to the big leagues. Other than the fact that he can't take ground balls in right field, and they had to show him how to do it his second day up in Major League Baseball. But I think that's more of a baseball problem than a Roman Anthony problem. They're just not teaching kids how to do the fundamentals of the game anymore. Just teaching them how to hit dingers. Chicks dig the long ball.
Hell yes.
But look, kid looks legit. However, Alex Cora does not want to make him an everyday player. He does not want to make Marcelo Mayer an everyday player, even though he's hit, last I looked, 2 home runs to put the Red Sox up in tonight's game as we are recording. And Christian Campbell, who's the weakest of them all, that started with the club to start the year because he signed their shitty contract, is in a slump. Looks like he can hit okay, but somehow he's an everyday player. But Alex Cora has this thing against lefties, and especially lefty relievers, that his rookies can't hit him. He sat Devers when he did. He sat Devers, Duran, Christian Cassis, Wiley Abreu. All those guys are examples of Alex Cora sitting against left-handed relievers as young players in Major League Baseball. And
isn't there some of the guys too that he actually sits for, like when there's a left-handed pitcher going out, like starting?
Well,
I know the relief pitcher is one big thing, but I think there's a guy, isn't it Campbell, that they just sit when he goes against a lefty?
They started Mayer
okay.
in the Yankees series when he went up against the 2 lefties there. They didn't do it. I think they went against the lefty tonight, and Mayer demolished him. Mayer hits like 361 against lefties in AAA. It's not like these. Marcelo Mayer was the number 4 overall pick. Roman Anthony is the number 1 prospect in baseball. I get they're young players. I get that you want to protect them a little bit, but it's not like they're like iffy prospects or kind of low ball prospects. These are the best young players in the game. And Alex Cora is trying to, split the baby and letting these guys develop and win games where, like, his decisions hasn't made a difference in winning games yet this year. So why don't you just let these fucking kids hit and go through their strides, because they're the future of your franchise anyway?
How is the management not coming down and saying, look, our season has been terrible as of late. Like, obviously people are going to games, but it's the opposing teams that they're playing because Fenway's so historical, and that's why they're sellouts probably. And that's why all the fans are there. Why don't you get the crowd going with the fucking young 3 that you have, the new 3 Kings of Boston that I'm going to be calling them, because that's what everyone wants to see. I mean, how many people were checking on the game Monday night just every time that he came up to bat to see if he got his first hit? Like, that was probably
ratings were absolutely through the roof with Anthony.
Yeah.
To be fair to Cora, it has worked.
Yeah.
So Roman Gonzalez had a 2-run double against the Yankees on Monday night or whatever it was. Friday night against New York, he pinch hit for Mayer, and Gonzalez had a home run. Ref Snyder is terrific against left-handed pitchers. He had a big hit when they subbed out. So in recent history, it's worked. But you're right. Like, it's, again, the Red Sox focusing. They're not it. They're either too much in the future or too much or not in the future enough. They can't kind of come to, they're not on the same page. We kind of talked about this last week in the show. Ownership, front office, management, players, they're not on the same page. Like, you wanted these, you've been talking about your big 3, which wasn't even Campbell, by the way. It was the catcher, Kyle Teal, who they traded away for Crochet. Now it's a new big 3, but they just kind of conveniently left that out. Campbell shot through the minor league system last year. Regardless, you've been talking about this big 3 for years. Now they're here, and Alex Cora wants to pull the big boy manager card and sit them down in big spots. And I'm not, we're making a big deal of it. It sounds kind of like we're bitching a little bit because they have won 4-6, kind of pulled some shit out of their hat. But yeah, like, just commit to these kids, hand them the keys, and let's go. Let's see what they got. That's kind of how I feel at this point.
It's going to be cheap for so long too. So why wouldn't you want to build around them? You'd want to,
if this is like a 2-week thing or 4-week thing, or by All-Star break, it's like, all right, now you're full swing. okay, fine. What's the cutoff? What do they have to prove to you? I just don't totally understand the logic from Alex Cora, especially when you're making so many bad decisions elsewhere. Your roster sucks in so many places elsewhere. It's like, this is the hill you're dying on? Subbing out Roman Anthony in his major league debut in extra innings when the entire state, all of Boston just wants to see this kid hit a game-winning run, and you'll collect 7% of the fan base back. It's like, I don't know. Is it worth it? You lost the game anyway. Cora. So was it worth it? Just, Alex Cora.
It'd be interesting if they win tonight and then they play the Yankees this weekend and they take 2 out of 3 against the Yankees, and they're right on the doorstep of the AL East right there. If that happens,
we said it a long time ago. What are you waiting to bring these kids up? They're the spark you needed. You got a dead ball club. You've got no enthusiasm. You've got no urgency. You've got 2 of the best young players in the league just raking. Why don't you bring them up and give your team a spark? Wouldn't you know it? Red Sox have won 4-6, looking like 5 out of 7. Giolito somehow comes to life with 6 good innings, no earned, 3 hits. You take 2 out of 3 from the Yankees. The bats come alive. Gee.
Weird.
Can the nerds spot that? No, they can't. They don't understand what human emotion is because they're dorks and nobody loves them. So the fact that you've got a young spark and you can just feel it. You can just feel it. Half the club is looking at Roman Anthony's sister going, fuck yeah, she's going to be here half the time. I'm coming. And we got a chance to watch this kid hit dingers. Let's go, baby. Let's go. I'm buying a hat, motherfucker. They're ready to go.
They were following up fucking, what is that? Is that 90 from Worcester up to fucking Boston?
Yes. The Mass Pike?
That's the Mass Pike, yeah. I couldn't think of the name. I'm sorry. They were following him up there. Like, they had helicopter crews following him. And when he got to the fucking stadium, like, all the cameras are on him. Like, everyone's, like, excited to watch this kid play and see what he's got.
And I guess that's the point I'm trying to get to. Alex Cora is still managing it like Rafi Devers came up in 2018, and the team's on the cusp of winning a championship. It's like, nope, you're not. You blow. So let these kids play. Also, I hate to burst this bubble, seeing as everyone's excited about the
22.
Kings, the 3 Kings and the sister.
The 3 Kings.
They're not going anywhere. Their pitching sucks too bad. They got the 22nd worst ERA as a pitching staff. Their starting rotation has the 25th worst ERA in baseball. I get ERA is not a sport that the nerds like, but that's the only thing I know. If it wasn't for Aroldis Chapman dipping into the fountain of youth and Garrett Crochet, those numbers would be ballooned a lot higher. Unless they fix that, or some of these guys, take some steroids or something, between that and the errors, they're not going anywhere. And I don't know how you fix those things overnight. So sorry to burst that bubble. Sorry to burst that bubble. Hey, I'm going to save this because we went late, but the Athletic did a 130 player anonymous poll of Major League Baseball players. Maybe we'll do it next week. To summarize it, what a bunch of bitches these guys are, right? I know there's a lot of words. You didn't read it all, but I recommend you do. If anyone has the Athletic, go check it out. What is the biggest misconception about life as a baseball player? Basically, all they do is complain about how much they have to travel and how hard they work for their millions of dollars. And the younger players, they don't get paid like everybody. Everyone thinks we're millionaires, and the league minimum is only $770,000 to work for 7 months to play baseball. Oh, poor
you can travel for free.
Oh, poor babies. Oh, you have to travel. We have to travel to new cities every other week, and you don't get to go out and party because you have to fucking play baseball. Oh,
bullshit. They're fucking a new girl every time they go to a new
I
city.
have to show up at the ball club I have to show up at 1:00 and play till 9. Oh, you mean 8 hours? You mean an 8-hour shift? You fucking cunt. Fucking baseball players. You're the worst, bitchiest assholes on the planet. Average salary in MLB is $4.5 million. Median salary is 1.2. The average age of a player is 28 to 30 years old, which means if you're 28 years old playing the bigs, you need 6 years of service time until you get to until you get to past arbitration. If you're any good, you get paid within arbitration. If you just hang on and make it, by the time you're 29, you've got a $6 million salary, and you'll probably hang on for another years. So you're telling me you won't play baseball from the time you're 8 years old or whatever? Bobby quit at 9 because he sucked. No big deal. You won't play from then.
Like you played a few more years, like you're any better.
From then until you're 30 years old, and then walk away from the game with, call it $7 million. $7 million to play baseball and miss some weddings in a prom, and you're going to bitch about it? Like, just shut the fuck up.
Sign me up. Where do I sign?
Jesus Christ. I worked the National Pride, which is an affiliate in Nashua. There were guys playing for $35,000 who were like 28. Just like, what do you want me to do? Oh, I could play baseball for this amount of money for half the year and then go do something else, or get like a $50,000 paying job selling insurance or whatever. It's like, I'm just going to play baseball. Like, no shit. No shit. Maybe that's why I was angry. Sorry. I'm over it now. I read those articles on The Athletic of the
So it wasn't me.
baseball players bitch. Well, a lot of it's you, but mostly it's baseball players today. They're just whiny bitches. And it aggravates me. Every time something like this comes up, it aggravates me.
I'm sorry, baby.
The only thing good that they said was none of them are for robo umps, and I'm on 100% on board with that. Robo umps are stupid. Anybody who's for that is an idiot.
And it's coming next year.
It's not coming. Unlike me, on Newman's chest. We'll be right back with a little Patriots talk. Well, it's fast.
Like your mother. No.
Stefan?
Both.
Stefan Diggs, please.
Yeah. Oh,
obviously, I want to be as candid with you guys as possible. I kind of like have a thing where talk about my personal life with people I don't know personally. I'm pretty sure everybody here, men and women, are great people, but you know what I'm saying? I kind of keep my personal life personal. I had a conversation with Graves, obviously. I'm going to echo everything that he said. He told me, hoping everybody making good decisions, you know what I'm saying? And I had a conversation with people in the building as well, so, everything else is everything else. The particulars is all internal.
Sorry, understanding that, it's kind of coming on us to ask, who's in the bag?
Obviously, it's a conversation, that's happening internal. You know what I'm saying? I can't have too much of a conversation about it, but I've been in this league 10 years. You can format the question many different ways. I'm obviously answer it the same way.
Steph, I just have one. Did you know it was being recorded?
Once again, you can format the question many different ways. You know what I'm saying? I've been doing this for 10 years.
Really? The question I have from that is not that he didn't answer what was in the bag. We knew that wasn't coming. Talked to Vrabes. They're on the same page. Bobby, he did say talk to some people in the building. What people were those, and what did they have to say to this young man?
I assume he was referring to his teammates.
Ooh, that's an interesting take.
I didn't think it was teammates.
No,
I assumed he was talking to the owner who are holding his $12 million paycheck ransom until he passes the physical that allows him to go play football. That's what I thought.
Fair enough. Very well could be that. That makes more sense.
What do you think Johnny Kraft had to say?
Well, I would think they'd say that we're probably going to slow down on your physical until you're 100% ready. We're not going to do it now and pay you any sooner.
Hey, Steph, by any chance, do you know what that was in the bag and how long it takes to pass through your system? We're not going to want to put any needle in your arm and until that thing gets all the way through. Also, if you're going to keep fucking around, we're not going to pay you any money, prick. So let's keep showing up. Let's keep looking good in shorts. By all accounts, mostly Tommy Curran has been, pulling the horn on this one. He looks great in all the film that we see. He looks great. But as we've said in past shows, that is in comparison to the rest of the wide receivers that the Patriots have, who absolutely blow. So hard to tell, hard to say. He was asked about week one. We have a clip, but we don't need to show it, right? He seemed optimistic. He seemed ready to go. I, very big and bold of me, said I may be wrong about Steph Diggs. He may be ready to go sooner than I thought. However, confirmed, he has not passed his physical. He has not got his money. And kudos to the Patriots and kudos to Mike Vrabel for that. If we didn't see that boat video, maybe we'd have a different story. But we did. And we know what the other side of Steph Diggs is. And them, using that as an incentive to show up, do the work, make sure you're physically fit, and we will have you take that physical when we think it's the most opportune time so that you don't go out and get yourself hurt and so you don't go out and fuck off. So I would imagine that would be somewhere where like he has to completely focus on football, but it's not too much football where he goes out there and gets himself hurt. They're going to make him ramp himself up to actual physical peak performance and then let him pass the physical, give him some money, get him on the field.
Bye.
I would still be surprised if he is in uniform on week one.
Okay.
It doesn't feel like that's what they want to do with him. I don't know if that's because of the off-field stuff or because they don't want to risk future injury.
Do you think he's going to get one of those mysterious pup list designations?
No, because that's week 6 or something. That's too long. I
thought
think
you could do like a 4-week one. Isn't there a 4-week one you can do?
Maybe.
I think he's in play just to be on the active roster and not play. And just be a healthy scratch. He'll be a member of the 53, but not of the 45 or 46 active.
Yeah, I think training can. Predictions are hard to do. If he is truly physically ready to go, like he's still 31 coming off an ACL injury. So like the idea that thing is 100% stable it can't be. And if it is, like, he's a modern medical miracle. Like, so I think that they will be abundantly cautious from that standpoint. And I think because of the off-field shit, they're going to hold a lot of that money over his head to make sure that he's doing all the right things to get him to be physically at that point. And I think that he's now probably in that position to do those things. He wants his money. So
sure. Yeah. And the Patriots want to win games. So I do think that as soon as he is ready to get out there, that they'll put him out there.
I wouldn't be shocked if it's week 1 just because of what they have on that roster. And every game counts for the NFL. So it's not like you can be like, oh, I can wait a couple weeks. I think they want him out.
Game 1's it's a winnable game. They can't.
I don't disagree with you for that reason, but I don't think that they're going to base the decision to play Steph Diggs based on the other players on the roster. Like if they have an actual concern that he is not quite, like the knee is not quite, and they're not going to be able, this is not like you look at him on the field. Clearly you look at him on the field, he looks really good. This is going to be, they get him in the medical room, they get him in the physical, the x-rays say one thing and his body looks like a different thing. And the doctors are going to go like, he could use another 2 weeks. And if that's the case, then the Patriots, I think, will say, all right, fuck it, we're keeping him out 2 weeks.
Well, they haven't put him on pads either. He has no pads. All he's been in is shorts and a helmet. That's it. So like, wait till that happens. Wait till the hitting starts. Then they get him in there and see what the knee looks like and how it's holding up. I agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he can't even take a hit until he passes the physical. So they'll hold that over him. Yeah. And look, it doesn't matter. If Efton Chisholm just continues on the track, then Steph Diggs, they can just cut him.
Soon to be Hall of Fame, Patriots Hall of Fame. Efton.
Thank you. Speaking of that, speaking of cutting Steph Diggs, here's a ridiculous. There's no way this is happening for a number of reasons. But Terry McLaurin is holding out or holding in with the Washington Commanders for a contract. And of course, the Patriots name comes up because they have cap space, because they have the money, and because they need talent. A trade rumor was put out there that they could get him for a 2026 second-round pick and Austin Hooper, which alone is. This is from Christopher Knox of Bleacher Report, so that's probably all you need to know.
Clickbait. To
be fair. The comp that I heard was the DK Metcalf, which was a second and a third, I think, or a second and a fourth. That's not out of the realm. None of these big wide receivers that have been traded have gotten a first round pick. They've all asked for it. None of them have gotten it. So I don't think it's happening because more times than not, when these receivers hold out, they get their money. Devontae Adams, Deebo Samuel, Ayuk, more times the kid in Dallas. More times than not, this is just a negotiation ploy, and these receivers get their money. The Commanders are on the cusp of, being good. They brought Deebo in there. They're gonna pay Terry McLaurin. This is a pipe dream. However, the amount of people I've heard say it's not worth it to go get Terry McLaurin,
Idiots.
Who says that?
everybody I've heard, even like this is based around the idea of maybe a first round pick. Trade the first round pick for Terry McLaurin yesterday. If you trade for Terry McLaurin, that first round pick should be in the high 20s. You should be in the playoffs.
Easily.
So, like, are you nuts? And pay him $35 million a year. Are you nuts? He's 29. He's going to be 30 this year. Pay.
For a team with the worst record of selecting second round picks in the history of the universe.
Jesus Christ. Go get some talent to catch the ball and pay them for once in your franchise history, you dopes. If they got Terry McLaurin, chef's kiss. Unbelievable. Great. It's never going to happen, but it's in the news, so we brought it up. So there you go. Takeaways from minicamp. Wes Schweitzer. He retired. His second offensive lineman to quit the Patriots in 2 years. He was only 31. He was like, fuck this, I'm out.
I would too. You guys monies. I'm out.
Drake May, up and down. My opening take, is he good? We're not sure. Started 4 for 4 in team drills, 6 of 7. This is the last day of camp, obviously. Tried to hit Kyle Williams down the right sideline. Christian Gonzalez made a jumping one-handed interception that's getting a lot of pub. Overall, May completed 64% of his passes, 1 turnover. The group was not terribly efficient in the red zone. On Monday, he was 6 of 9 with 3 touchdowns.
Nice.
On Tuesday, he was 3 of 6 with no touchdowns. Patriots receivers, get this. This is going to shock a lot of people. Struggled to get open when the ball was placed at the 11 or 5.
Haven't heard that before.
So there you go. Again, every chance I get, I'm just going to say pump the brakes on Drake May, okay? I think this Monday was a good day for Drake. 3 touchdowns, 64% completion. Tuesday was an iffy day. Had a turnover, bad red zone. I think that's potential microcosm for the season. He's going to be good, not great. If you maybe predict,
it'll be very interesting if that's how it's going to be. If he can't get that turnover fixed, like he had a turnover. He turned the ball over a lot last season. If he can't fix that, he's not the answer.
Or at least he's not going to be as good as people think in year 2.
If he has a turnover every game, that's fine. If he throws 3 touchdowns every game, it's got to everything's a give and take.
Yeah,
I guess Brett Favre. I'll tell you who is shining some light on superiority. That's Bazooka Joe down there in Dallas, Mr. 5th round trade, Mr. Bobby wanted him to push Drake May. Maybe we were wrong, Raymond. Maybe we were wrong.
We weren't wrong.
Here's what they're saying down there in Dallas. Quote, I can hear it now, Cowboys reporter Bobby Belt said. What a Dallas, Texas Cowboys reporter name, Bobby Belt. You're going to hear so much of why isn't Joe Milton starting? We should have Joe Milton starting because you're going to see it. The head coach, Marty Schottenheimer's son, said, so excited about Joe. I was excited about Joe before we got him. We all reach out to people we know, people that trust, people that you trust, people that have exposed to said player in college and different programs, friends that have been around him to this day. From the time he's been here, the work ethic is incredible. Looks like Dallas may be coming down with the case of the Joe Milton fever. What do you have to say about that?
A lot of people went to his birthday party too, apparently.
Nice.
We're not too sure about that. The Joe Milton fever symptoms include fawning over amazing throws and unpadded practices and marveling at the quarterback doing backflips with his helmet on.
Yeah, but when you have Dak Prescott, who has been a complete bust, and you paid him all that fucking money, I think they're looking for the bright light in Dallas for the next guy up, and it's going to probably be Joe Milton. And I said it. I made my prediction. I think he will be starting games in the regular season for the Dallas Cowboys this year.
That would be hilarious.
Joe Milton.
Not because he's that good. I think because Dak's going to get hurt again.
It's possible.
Dak does get hurt a lot. I would not call Dak Prescott a bust. I just think he loses.
Not a bust, but
I call him a bum.
Okay, let's go with bum. I like bum better.
A little bit of a bum. Joe Milton's the perfect cowboy. Like, just an absolute stud in June, and throw him into a game, he's going to blow. I just thought that was a nice. Well, keep an eye on what Joe Milton's doing and how Drake's doing this year. Just keep an eye on that. Okay, we're going to do a quick break. We're going to save the Celtics and Bruins talk for next week, and we're going to move on over to 10 questions from a guy named Rob.
Here we are. Question number 1. Will Aaron Rodgers finally end the Steelers' streak of winning seasons?
Nope.
You don't think so? You think
I
that
don't
they're
think
going to
so.
still put up another
I
10
think they're
wins
going
here?
to not. They need 9. You only need 9. I think they're going to. I think they're going to win the AFC North. I'm going to put out another bold projection. He just took a team-friendly deal. He's only making, I think, $13 million or something stupid like that.
Yep.
So it's a 1-year deal. It's a prove-it deal. So he's going to go out with a ball of fire. I think he's going to play very well for Pittsburgh.
I think you're an idiot. I think that they're going to have a losing season.
I also believe that you are an idiot. Aaron Rodgers is a douchebag. Now he's a married douchebag. He's got to deal with that baggage. And the assholes in the wide receiving room that is Pittsburgh with Aaron Rodgers.
We're saying that Mike Tomlin believes in him and that Solid didn't when he went to the Jets. So, I mean, hey,
does he?
Hey, you know how he is with relationships. He fucking hates his family because they like talk shit about him. So, like, obviously,
And then he got married. How's that going to work out? Mid-season divorce for Aaron Rodgers.
No
Pittsburgh
kids.
crumbles. Do you know what the over-under change for the Steelers with Mason Rudolph as quarterback and Aaron Rodgers as quarterback? You know what the
Was it
change
like
was?
1 win?
0 wins.
Zero.
There was nothing. There was no change, which tells me that it's a negative change.
Gotcha.
Bingo.
Aaron Rodgers, get out of here.
How long will it take Jim Irsay's daughters to run the Colts franchise into the ground?
Week 2.
It's going to take a little longer than that. I'm going to say year 3. They will be. You'll have noticed the difference.
I bet you they sell by year 3.
They might sell. That would probably the best. Probably the best.
Maybe
bet.
smartest move.
How much?
No, they're not
further-
going to sell. They're going to hold on to that thing because the NFL is just going to keep making more money.
I guess that's true. Yeah,
That's
A lot of
true
people
again.
don't sell NFL. How much further in the ground could the Colts get? They're just like haze of mediocrity, drafting shitty quarterbacks.
They could be the Raiders. They could be the Jets.
I guess that's true.
Browns.
There's a new Manning that comes back up there, and when they suck and they get
Maybe
the
that's what they're
first
going
round
to do.
pick.
That's their
His
plan.
name is Arch, and he's coming.
He is
Manning.
coming.
Actually, I take it all back. I believe the girls are going to tank the season, draft Arch Manning, and he's going to turn that franchise around.
Yep.
And they're all
Fair
going
plan.
to scissor come on our faces.
It's a good as plan of any. What are you guys doing to celebrate Pride Month? I'll let you know what I'm doing, and that's doing a podcast with 2 men with alternative lifestyles.
I signed a document that said I'm gay, so that's what I'm doing. Hello.
You did do that. Yes, that's true.
Mm-hmm.
Richard?
I'll show you later.
Can't wait. Very good. It's all the good news from Pat's minicamp. Too good to be true.
Of course.
Yes, fucking of course.
There's a dark cloud over New England after all the success we've had. So yeah, something bad's going to happen, and we're going to be terrible again.
You know what I heard slip in the the reporting that the offense looks okay. They had a tough day. Is Ramondre Stevenson dropped the ball? It's like last year that would have been the headline of the day. Ramondre Stevenson still cannot hang on to the football. All it's going to take is week 1, Ramondre Stevenson fumbling the ball and losing by 6. It's like same old shit, man. So no. Of course,
Yeah.
too good to be true.
Too good to be true.
Stop it. Give me negative shit. Variable.
Interesting change. Do you guys also get wet dreams while awake like I do?
Oh,
No,
So
Bobby,
you're saying that you can control your orgasms at all times?
yeah.
That sucks.
What do you like in a meeting, like a nice meeting with your boss there, and you just like and vinegar strokes?
Yeah, I make it more look like a sneeze. I'm used to it. It's just more like like that. But yeah. So,
You ever see the now it's just on the internet. I think it was a documentary about the man who his disorder is he orgasms like 180 times a day or whatever. He's like every 5 minutes he has an orgasm.
Wow.
He's like crying. He's like, I can't fucking control it. It's a real thing. It's a real thing. And we're bringing
you're bringing fucking laughter to it.
No, advocacy. Laughter is the best.
Just like that guy has everything in common with baseball players. What a bunch of fucking assholes. Jesus, complaining about their lives.
Damn assholes.
Well, the Mavs freak out when they realize the player they're scheduled to draft number 1 is a white guy.
Yes.
I like
Nico Collins is going to be like, God damn it, trade him.
I like the insinuation that Nico Collins doesn't know that he's a white guy yet.
Yeah.
Oh, his name is Cooper Flag.
Yeah.
Well, hanging out with Mr. Cooper.
They put out the news that they're supposed to have this workout with him on like June, whatever it is. Then he gets there and they're like, oh no, he's white. He's white. No.
Yeah.
That's why they want to trade a pick.
Like, where's your client?
Yeah. Yeah.
You're tall for an agent.
Used to play? You play college ball?
Oh shit, that's the guy. Trade.
Trade it now. Trade it. How bad are the Knicks screwing up their coaching search?
Terribly. They want Jason Kidd now, apparently. Like,
hold on. Was their plan to call every good coach in the league and see if their team would release them?
What? Like, how do you fire the only guy that brought you to a championship in 20 East Conference Finals in 25 years, and your plan is to go ask sitting coaches if they can talk to him to leave their franchise to come to the Knicks, like the Knicks are Taj Mahal or something? Jason Kidd, no. Imo Udoka, no. Chris Finch, no. Quinn Snyder, no. Oh.
Quinn Snyder, they didn't even let him talk to him. They
didn't let him talk to any of those guys I mentioned. They got denied on all 4 of them.
Yeah.
So dumb.
I fucking love it.
Yeah. Speaking of dumb, will Kevin Durant get traded again?
Yep.
Yeah, last I heard was Spurs is all but
it's like locked in, like there's a jersey leaked or something in the locker room or something. Like he's pretty much going there. It's trade night kind of thing.
They're gonna have the whole lanky guy on lockdown. They just need Holmgren, and they'll have all of them.
Yeah, we're about to see what Wemby's been up to.
Interesting. Does anyone else constantly feel the need to itch their nads like I do?
All the time.
Yeah. Now this one we can get on board with.
Yeah, all the time.
I mean, do you guys shower? Because I don't do that.
I shower and I still have itchy. Well, because I shave. I shave the taint area. Because it's summertime, so you want to look good. So, but it's always itchy down there. So I'm like,
mine's probably from rubbing them all over your mom's face.
Yeah, she doesn't shave. You got to go with the old Mr. Chamberlain pinch and roll, classic pinch and roll.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah,
like a nice scratch. Are the Bengals right to be assholes about everything in contract negotiations?
No, that's why they're a loser franchise.
Sure. Yeah. Take him to the.
See the comments that their rookie first round pick made about the contract situation.
No, I missed that.
He basically said they care more about winning the argument than winning games.
Welcome to New England, bud. Everything is about the contract. We just did 20 minutes on Steph Diggs having $12 million. Although that's also the Red Sox. Basically, every team except for the Celtics. They're more interested in winning the deal than actually getting the player.
That's how they get their rocks off. That's how they get their wet dream awake, knowing that they got.
It feels like, because we just talked about the Colts owners, it feels like shitty teams don't do that. Like they overspend and they make bad contract decisions and make bad business decisions, and you don't have a good culture. And then the flip side of that is only having good business decisions and winning the deals for good, not great players, and missing out on some of the best players. And then you have to kind of hopefully that culture wins for you, or you just end up with a Mahomes or a Brady or someone in football. So there's like no middle ground. It feels like the good franchises win deals and they understand how to do business or they draft well, and bad franchises pay out the ass and then you're the Saints and you're going to suck for the next 10 years.
They are going to suck for the next 10 years.
The Bengals are trying to do both.
Yeah.
They do a great job at it.
They're trying to take an unbelievably talented roster and fuck it up through osmosis of
Speaking
shitty
of alternative lifestyles, Joe Burrow.
Yeah. Because he
I didn't know we're talking about top. Nope, not yet. But top 5 quarterback.
Oh, quite now. Simplest minds of the week right after this.
Oh, back to school to prove to Dad that I'm not a fool.
I will say, I don't know if you can tell by looking at me, I do have family members with Down syndrome. It almost got me. I dodged it, but it nicked me. Bit of a day walker myself.
Are you stupid or something? I'm as stupid as stupid does.
Speaking of Wemby and the Spurs, he is now a Shaolin warrior monk. He is spending the summer at Shaolin Temple. He's shaved his head. Do you have the other picture with him and the monks? Look at
one of these things is not like the other.
He's so tall. With a shaved head, wearing a gray robe, Wembanyama can be seen sitting in front of statues of Buddha in a picture posted on Monday in the NBA's official Weibo page. What's Weibo, Ray?
I don't know.
Social media manager, which said the player had been reportedly begun a 10-day retreat at the temple in central Henan province, deepening his spiritual journey. Wembanyama is in a closed-door martial arts training. No one can see him. He is deliberately staying out of the public view.
Spurs are going to win the NBA title. They're going to win the NBA title.
If you're a Spurs fan,
Durant will get along great.
I would be petrified of this.
Who's he remind you of?
Kyrie?
Yep.
Anytime an NBA star goes to find his inner self, it's like, oh, shit. Okay, here comes a holier-than-thou Shaolin monk. Is basketball really worth it? There's so many other things in the world to think about. It's like, of course, the French Wembanyama is going to go be a Shaolin monk. I would be petrified if I was a Spurs fan. Petrified. And then you're going to bring Kevin Durant, the softest, best player in the history of the NBA, into that locker room with De'Aaron Fox, who seems like the exact opposite. Just seems like let's just play
basketball, man.
Possible.
Yeah.
Nightmare. I see, and Popovich is stroking out and retiring. I see nightmare scenarios in the future for the Spurs. Could be wrong. Maybe he goes like Beverly Hills Ninja and fuck shit up after this, but I don't know. The history says maybe not.
He's gonna go crazy, or he's gonna retire early,
or he goes like through 10 years of this, and even Kyrie is kind of coming back to a little bit of earth, like he was
might be flat, but
yeah, it's flat, but he was absolutely out of his mind for 10 years, and now he's like, okay, I've screwed up my opportunities badly enough. I will just be somewhat normal again. But that's 10 years.
Yeah.
Spurs are looking to win next year. All right, we're gonna do a quick divergent from the NBA before we get back to it for some real burners to close the show out. But I just wanted to bring this up because I feel like it. I think it's a PSA for Bobby Musley. Woman 24 set male friend on fire because he joked she should stay in the kitchen. Corby Walpole told the court she doused childhood friend Jake Loader in petrol and set him on fire last year, leaving him with horrific injuries because he said she should stay in the kitchen instead of drinking with the boys. Just be careful, okay?
That's for you, Bobby. That was for you.
Just
biddies are crazy. You got to be careful.
You got to be careful.
Biddies are crazy.
You got Shaolin monk that shit. Just internalize it and drink with the boys. Let her.
I want to see. Can we see the picture of the guy setting on fire? What that guy looks like?
I don't think we have a picture of the actual Jake Loader
of the victim.
He's probably in a burn unit still.
Yeah. Also, it should be noted, it is the internet. There's a chance that this is 100% fake, but we're going to go with it's real. This is 100% real. DeMarcus Cousins just fucking up the Puerto Rican Basketball League.
bastante molesto. Ahí, DeMarcus Cousins, ahí lo ve, dejándose sentir ante el público y eso no va a quedar bien. Ahí esto se acaba, esto pasó a mayores, desafortunadamente molesto.
What's it with guys grabbing their dicks now and getting them all in their face? Who else did that? It was Anthony Edwards. Remember when he was in LA?
Yep.
Just
Yeah,
grabbing on his junk and just be like, look at this. Look at this.
$300 million and a bigger dick than you.
You could have $3. You still have a bigger dick than me, you know?
Yeah.
Right,
or you could have $300 million and a smaller dick than me. It wouldn't matter. Yeah. Boogie Cousins. Just.
You correct.
What do they call it now? Crashing out? Flaking out? Flaming out? There's a term the kids are using.
I don't think it's flaming out because it's Gay Pride Month, so I don't think they use that. I think they have to wait for.
I think that's flamer.
Oh,
we're gonna.
You have to beep that out. You
have to beep that.
Yeah, no, you did that.
My bad.
Yep.
Yeah. Any final thoughts on Boogie Cousins? I meant to look up the repercussions of that, which I assume are zero because these
there's no repercussions.
These non-NBA leagues, which we're about to see one from the Greek playoffs finals, I don't think they care, which is awesome. We just need to start watching these leagues way more entertaining than the NBA. Speaking of that, this is Evan Fournier in the Greek feeding the geese.
Just Mr. Chowing it. Just fucking spraying his web wherever he went. Here you go, boys.
We'll dump loads all over this place.
Another James Franco reference, and well done.
Thank you. The play before that was he got absolutely demolished at the rim by some guy, which would have been like a flagrant 10 in the NBA. Someone would have been fined his entire salary and sent to jail. In the Greek league, they all fought a little bit and then they separated, and Evan Fournier went out and jerked his monkey to the fans. And I think he was ejected, but again, pretty sure he was available for the next game.
Exactly.
Oh, he's DeMarcus Cousins has been banished by his Puerto Rican team after that. So yeah.
Damn it.
Yeah, he's been suspended and contract has been terminated from the Puerto Rican Basketball League.
You've really upset
me. And here's your $20 back, DeMarcus.
Yeah.
Well, this has been the Simline Sports Show. Fun night again. Check out the SimlineSports.com for the newsletter. We're going to be giving away the free merch from Fan Fanatic. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.